Before this region was ever settled by Pennsylvanians, we had the Marylanders that were coming on up to establish their trading networks with the Native Americans in the region. Today, we're here at the John Hance Steelman Monument with the historian, Adams County historian, Tim Smith, where we're going to talk a little bit about this gentleman from Maryland. Tim.
You know, John Hance Steelman was born in Philadelphia in 1765. He was born to Swedish parents. He was an early translator and negotiator for Chester County and then Lancaster County with the Native Americans that he came in contact with this area. He is said to have been the first settler west of the Susquehanna River, first permanent settler west of the Susquehanna River. And of course, at that time, he was working with the Maryland authorities. He established a trading post somewhere near this spot, probably not right here. Steelman must have established this post along some kind of existing trail or road that came out of northern Maryland into the area that would later be, Fairfield, or probably up the valley that led over the mountains towards what would later be Waynesboro. But he actually established this while William Penn was still alive. At that time, this was part of Chester County, Pennsylvania, believe it or not. And in 1729, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania was formed. And of course, York County, Pennsylvania was formed in 1749, and at the time of the Revolution were part of York County. Also, in 1740, Steelman received a warrant from the state of Maryland for a tract of land in Carrollsburg, which was established by Charles Carroll under the auspices of Maryland. And that actual survey of land, you can see, it ends a little south of here. So perhaps his trading post was on this tract of land. Steelman didn't move into this area until he was 63 years old, and he died in 1749 at the age of 94. Now,
it's interesting to look at Steelman as an example of the dynamics that were occurring between the two colonies, Maryland with Lord Calvert and of course the Penn family. Maryland allowing for the trading to begin and to begin the settling of this region. Or at least the exploration of this region, even before the Penns were willing to do that.
Yeah, for a time it was unclear where the exact boundary was between the county of Maryland and Pennsylvania. And it wasn't until 1736 that the Penn family agents allowed settlement into the area on the western side of the Susquehanna River. And Maryland believed that, possession had 9/10 of the law. So by 1735, they were issuing, grants for land in this area that, they considered to be northern Maryland. In 1739, there was an agreement struck between Maryland and Pennsylvania, and the line was a temporary line was established here. And all this was happening while he was in this area helping to translate with Native Americans that were traveling through the area. We don't think there was any permanent village of Native Americans that lived anywhere near this area.
Yeah, and the fact that he had established a trading post down in along the Monocacy, and that this was his entire area of enterprise in a sense. Yeah. And that was so prosperous, it has been said, that earlier on in the early 1700s, the Penn family was threatened by the prosperity of the Steelman's trading practices to where they were confiscating some of his goods in Philadelphia. because they were taking too much business
So
from him.
he was quite a businessman and entrepreneur.
Right.
I should mention that this monument here at the intersection of these roads in Liberty Township was originally placed in 1924. And it was Albert Cook Myers of the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission that was really responsible for this marker being placed here. He was born and raised in Adams County, by the way. And we have photographs at the Adams County Historical Society of the dedication ceremony. And of course, the original marker was struck by an automobile and knocked over. And they stood the stone back up and replaced it with another bronze plaque in 1977. And what's my favorite thing about the dedication ceremony is in the 1924 photograph, there's a little girl. And she comes back in 1977 and gives the keynote speech at the rededication of this marker.
Wonderful. So this is a good example of the early frontier life in the south central Pennsylvania, way before the Revolution, but yeah, it helps to explain some of the dynamics that existed at that time between these adjoining colonies of Maryland and Pennsylvania, and then how those conflicts with those two colonies actually helped to shape some of the attitudes and the behaviors that unfolded on the eve of the American Revolution in this region. Thank you very much, Tim Smith. It's been nice to have you here today.